Hi all, good morning. Hope you are doing well. Today we are going to learn remaining. Yesterday we have discussed a few HTML5 semantics and mm, hi all. Today we are going to discuss remaining HTML5 semantics at the same time. And the most important thing is we are going to learn about how to design a layout for the page. Okay, suppose if you are constructing a new house, first of all, you should know the layout of the house, right? On that basis, you will construct the house. So in the same way, whenever you are designing a website, the layout of that website is very, very important. So once you construct the layout, once you design the layout, then you should start doing the projects. Of course, this is we are in a learning process, so that first we understand some basics and some important things. Then now we are going to learn how to create a simple layout for a web page, and then today we are going to cover the most important thing, that is HTML5 semantics also. Just a minute. Hi team, are you able to hear me properly over there in the call? Just give me confirmation.
Sir,
Okay, thank you.
clear only, sir.
Okay, fine now. So I'm just creating a new page. After yesterday we have used a home.html. Same thing. We are going to design from the scratch. So this is a simple HTML5 page. So don't forget to add this one. This refers to HTML5. So these things we are going to learn in detail about these things in a separate session. So this, the if you want to give a title for the website, you can give it. Suppose the title is Amazon. Now we can at least try to design the layout of Amazon. Okay, not exactly, at least we can do. So if you see, even if you go to any page apart from login and sign in page, if you go to any other page in Amazon application, okay, few things are common. Okay, one thing is header, and this navigation bar, right? You are able to see the all fresh baby something. This is the navigation bar. This is common in all the places. Even I think this is also common, if I'm not wrong. Something, let's see. So okay, okay, oh, that is coming in few pages. Okay, this is common, I think. Okay, there's a header, and this navigation bar is common in all the pages. At the same time, footer, if you see, it's a really, really big footer, and they're provided a lot of information here. So this footer is also common. So, and in between, the content is changing. Suppose if you navigate from one page to another page by clicking on any link, so always the header and footer is common, and in between you are designing something interesting stuff. Okay, this is like a pop-up. Okay, we don't need to worry about this. We can design it later. Okay, so now even for our website, what we are going to design, and that layout is very important. One is we need a header and we need a footer in all the pages. Okay, right now maybe we are designing one page, but in future, if you are using any other HTML pages or maybe React components or something, that should be common. So let's see. So here, okay, in the body, I'm just adding a extra div to make it simple, but most of the people will design without this div, but I'm not that much good, so I'm just taking help of one extra div to control the whole layout. So I'm considering this is the main container for us. So here I'm saying this is main, like, important, which means it will occupy the whole web page. Okay, I just added some text here. I'm going to design. So what we discussed, we for us header is important. So already HTML5 is providing a beautiful semantic that is called header. And after that, for the main content, HTML5 is providing another semantic called main. So we can utilize that facility and the footer. Okay, these three are common. Okay, these three are common. So I'm just putting some text. This is the header. Okay, this is the main content. Okay, the footer, you can add some text like this is the footer. So just open. Okay, fine. It is like it's normal divs. That's why, of course, it will occupy only one line at a time. So we should design according to our interest. Okay, so now this is we should add some styles to control the layout. So how I'm designing, how we are going to design. Let's see. So consider this. I will prefer to use the flex box instead of using normal CSS like float kind of thing. That's the old way. And flexbox is good. And even we have a grid concept, so we can learn those things in coming sessions. But flexbox is very simple. Okay, at least for me. So this is the main container. So I'm just giving some ID for that because if you want to apply some style for the main container, I'm adding this is the main container something. And of course, this is a header, this is the main tag, this is the footer. Because in our page, if you use only header, okay, you can go with that. Otherwise, even you can provide some ID or class something. Okay, right now, make it simple. You don't need to go for any other extra stuff here. So here, what I'm doing, I'm going to apply few styles for this main container so that it will be interesting. So I'm just putting hash because it's ID. So here I'm adding some border. So let's see how it is displaying. So 1 pixel, okay, solid and black. Okay, if these styles are unnecessary, we can remove it later. But to understand the layout, it will be very helpful. So if you see, I just applied some border for the main container, but still it is taking some space between left side and top and right side. Okay, okay, this is because, okay, are you able to see it properly? Even if I go to the mobile screen also, almost it will take some extra space. Okay, so I think in this only you are able to observe that. Okay, so if you want to remove that extra unnecessary space, okay, because this is because of the body. Okay, we have a body tag, right? Body tag is taking some a default margin. So for that we can remove that margin so that it will be it will take complete web page. So here what I'm doing, just go and add margin. Okay, margin, okay, 0%. So observe carefully. So now we have some space around this main container. After refreshing, that is gone. So now it is properly fitting in the web page. So it is completely occupying the left side and right side and the top. Of course, bottom is the based on and the child elements um, content. Okay, it's taking the height. Okay, we didn't provide any height. It is just taking the height based on the child elements height. Okay, fine. So my intention is I want to occupy the main container should occupy a whole web page. So suppose here some interesting things are there. So first of all, if we apply some background color, You can understand easily. Some background color I'm adding, light blue. So just refresh it. So if you see, this is the main content because I want to design everything. Okay, header and the main content and the footer in that main container. But it is just occupying only few lines, 3 lines. Okay, but I want to occupy the whole web page. How much height is there? Of course, width automatically it is occupying because these are the block level elements, so we don't need to worry about that. But the height purpose, okay, it is not occupying by default. So what we need to do, we need to apply some height for this one. So if I applied some height, okay, so I'm just applying some height, suppose 300 pixel. Okay, it is occupying this much only. Suppose if I add 700 pixel, okay, 700 pixel, so this much, still we have some space. But if you see, the one challenge is, okay, my device height is different, and maybe mobile, because we need to design it for any device in the world, right? So if I give a fixed height, definitely it will break in the other devices, because if I give the height according to my screen, okay, if you open this same thing in any other device, there is a high chance for the failure. So if you see, it is occupying only this much only. Okay, and if we go to iPhone 5, okay, it is at least occupying the whole. So again here the problem is there. iPad mini, here problem. So whenever you are designing, because you are a modern developer, right? So it's not that much easy to design this thing, because you should remember, you should be aware of all the devices, then you should design according to that. So this is wrong. We understand that if you give a height in the pixel, okay, it's going to be break in any other system, any other machine. So this is not. So another thing is we can give a height in the percentage. So if we give a height 100%, let's see whether it is working properly or not. So even if you give a 100%, 100% means what it is understanding. So by default, it needs this much of height so that it is occupying 100%. Okay, because the available space is this much, because of this divs, these divs occupied 3 lines, so the main div also occupies those 3 lines 100%. So it is another problem. So we have a simple solution, but I'm not sure this is the only solution, because maybe with the help of the CSS frameworks we can design it a much more beautiful way. But here we are in the beginner level, so we can solve this with a simple technique. So height, because we need to provide the height based on the device height, right? If you are able to provide the device height, suppose if you open in an iPhone, it should consider that height. If you open that is in the iPad, it should consider that height. If you open in the big screen, it should consider that height. So how to calculate the height of the device? So it's very difficult, right? So we have a simple technique, because in the CSS we have some different units. Okay, W3 schools. If you go to the W3 schools, I think they have mentioned the CSS. Okay, I'm not sure where they have provided that information. Let me units. Do you find anything? Yeah, CSS units. So we can calculate width and height in different units. So if you see, there are lots of things are there. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand the difference between these things. So one thing we understand, normally people directly will go and apply the pixels, because if you give a fixed width, the problem is already we understand that it there is a high chance to break in any other devices. So of course, Sometimes we can use this, but is giving a star mark that most of the people are using this, if I'm not wrong. So this is, if you see, they have provided the description also. Cm means centimeter. Suppose if you want to provide the height or a width in centimeters, you can use cm. If you want to give in a millimeters, you can go for mm. If you want to give a width and all those things in inches, okay, it is clearly saying that 1 inch is equal to 96 pixel, okay, and 2.54 centimeters. Okay, you don't need to break your head to remember all these things, but by doing practice, by using these things, definitely you will be familiar with all these things. Pixels, 1 pixels is equal to, of course here it is 96 times, so it will be divided by 96 times. So, and PD points and PC, lots of things are there. Here, this is the most important thing. So if you see, this is absolute length. So if you mention 10 centimeters means always in any other device it will go for 10 centimeters only. But here the relative length means it will depend on some other value. It will depend on some other value. So if you see, I will tell you one example. Which one is normally these are very popular nowadays. REM. This is relative to font size of the root element. So because suppose if you change the font size, if the font size is 20 pixel, it will take 40 pixels of rem, the width of that container. So we can try it and then we can understand easily. So if you see, um, here, what is okay? He has taken too much examples. So the font size of this document is 16 pixel. So that if you give a two rems, it will take 32 pixels of that height or a width. Okay, font size 2 rems. Let me 1 minute, 1 minute. It will depend on font size actually. Rem relative to the font size of the root element. Okay, if the root element has some font size and it will take how much? 1 minute, maybe is mentioned somewhere. I read it. It is okay based on, so maybe it's not the double size, but it is dependent on that. But how much? Okay, sorry, this one. Okay, relative to the font size of the element, 2em means 2 times of the size of the current font. So if the current font size is 10 pixel, it will consider 20 pixels of that particular style. So so that rem means it will take automatically adjust according to the definition. So if you see here, here it clearly saying this paragraph has calculated line height of because the font size is 16 pixel, the line height is double to that, so 32 pixel. Suppose if you change the font size, so if you see, I'm changing the font size here to 32. So then what will happen? Well, now the height of this is 32 already. If you give a 32 pixel font size, then automatically the line height will become 2 times of that. So it will become 64. So for to understand it properly, we can apply some background color. Background color, hope the spelling is right. I'm just putting red. So if you see, this is the background color. Suppose, understand here, suppose if this is 2 pixel, if this is 2 pixel, the line height is 4 pixel. If it is a 10 pixel, the line height is 20 pixel. Okay, suppose if you don't put this in a rems, suppose if you define in pixels, suppose I'm giving this is 10 pixels only. Okay, suppose line height is 10 pixel, font size is 10 pixels only. Suppose if I take a font size as 18 pixel, so if you see, the UI is broken. Hopefully you are able to see. So if you give a 28 pixel, so what happening here, the line height you have given in a fixed size, so it's always okay, irrespective of font size or the situation, it is always occupies only 10 pixel. but the font size is 28 pixel. So if you change the font size, always you should be take care of the line height also. What you need to do here, if you give a 30 pixel, at least it will looks good. But most of the times it's very difficult for us. So we have a simple CSS technique, that is what you need to do. Just give 2em, then what will happen? Whatever the font size you will give, it will calculate based on that the line height. So if it is 28 pixel, it will be 2 times of the 28 pixel, the line height. So this is the simple technique. In the same way, the CSS unit, relative units are depend on some other factor. So, okay, because we don't have time to discuss on each and everything, so I have given some example to you. So whenever you are practicing, just try all these things. Maybe few or not that we are not going to use regularly, but as a beginner, it's better to have a some knowledge on all these units. Okay, whenever you have a time, just go through all these things and just make a note, okay, which are very interesting. So especially in the modern days, we are using rem and em and pixel or very very regularly. So and another one is vh. So observe carefully, it is relative to 1% of the height of the viewport. Okay, still I have a confusion between viewport and the screen size and window size, and a lot of things are there. Okay, I will clarify later. So viewport means okay, the width and height or the space a user can utilizing on the web page. Suppose if you see, this is the viewport. Okay, the total, the viewport, how much space it is occupying for the use, like on the web page. So VH means 1% of that height. Suppose if it is 100 pixel, if you just provide one VH means, okay, it will be 1%. If you give a 10 VH means it will be 10%. 50 VH means it will occupy 50% of the viewport. So now here I'm trying this problem. So if you see, if you give a the 50 pixel or 500 pixel, it is a fixed width. So it is breaking in many other devices. So instead of using this pixel, the fixed size, we should go for a relative things. Relative things means it will depend on some other things. Here, VH is clearly saying VH, 10 VH means the 10% of the view height. Just a minute. 10% of the viewport. So refresh. So if you see, this is 100%. This is 100%. How much? Any device, even if you open in a small device, always it will be 10% of the viewport. Viewport means how much space you are occupying on the web page. So now if you give 100 VH means 100% of the viewport. So now if you see, we can solve this problem with this simple technique. So okay, it is occupying 100%. Okay, it's still showing vertical border means something, still something wrong. So because if it is properly fitted, we should not get this vertical bar also. Maybe some problem. Okay, we can fix that later. But if you see, if you open in any device, almost it will occupy completely. We don't get any problem. So if you see, so it is perfect in this device also. This device also perfect. So almost every device, but I'm not sure why it is giving some thing, maybe some margin kind of thing is happening. Let me add margin also 0, margin 0% or 0 pixels or something. Okay, anyway, we are giving a 0, that's why no problem. No. Okay, maybe it's not because of the margin. Let me add padding also 0%. Maybe this is also not. Okay, I don't know the reason why it is taking the vertical bar. We can fix it later, or whenever you try. If you know the answer, just let me know. So okay, at least we are able to design. We are able to occupy the full screen of the device. If you just open in any device, almost it will work properly. Okay, now our goal is, okay, we have done one important thing. So let me take the confirmation. Team, understood, or do you have any confusion here? Why we are using VH, 100 VH for the height?
Yeah.
Everyone, just tell me, understood or not? Okay, fine. So now we can focus on remaining things. So okay, our main content is occupying the whole thing, but here header, main tag and footer is there. Okay, let me add some different styles for these things. So anyway, we have a header. It's a right now it's a HTML5 semantic, so that you can add some different background color. So I'm going to add, because Amazon is taking a black color. Let me add black color for that, and for main also. For main we can add some light color. Right now I'm giving light green. So later we can change those styles. And footer, naturally for Amazon also, we have black color. Save it. Okay. So header is taking black color. Of course, the content is also taking the black color. That's why we are not able to see anything. So let's add a text color. Okay, text color should be opposite to that black color. Then it's good. So we can go for white color, text color. Make it white. Okay, fine. Header. Why it is not displaying any spelling mistake? This is color. Okay, fantastic. So now, because it is the header, it is just a small text, that's why it is just occupying by default height. Default height. Suppose if you want to occupy the whole height, what we need to do? So already we understand the flex box, right? Suppose if first we need to make the container as flex box. So main container. Okay, I'm doing display flex. Okay, display flex. Okay, refresh. Good. Okay, don't worry. If you just make it display flex, by default, the behavior of the child elements is it will be row direction is mm, the horizontal. Okay. Suppose what you we are doing. Suppose if you want to occupy the whole empty space, what we are doing? Do you remember? So all the children. Suppose if you give a ID class. So class, what we can say is a child. Suppose I'm just adding the class as a child. Okay, so here based on that class name we can apply some other styles. So dot, say child, so because dot means it's referring the class. So here if you give a flex grow as 1, then what will happen? All the children will occupy equal space. Super, right? So it is just occupying equal space. So, but it is in horizontal. So if you want to make it vertical, what we need to do, that's very simple technique. Okay, what we need to do? We should change the flex direction, right? Flex direction by default it is row. That's why it is showing all the divs in the in one row, if you make it column, then obviously it will arrange them in the vertical order. Okay, so now it is in column wise. So if you see, this is very important. Flex grow is very important. If you give a flex grow, then only it will occupy the empty space. So, but here another problem is there, because I don't want this much of height for the header. I don't want this much height of a footer. Okay, if you want, okay, you can go with, suppose Amazon is occupying very less height for the header, but of course it is taking too much height for the footer. Almost it is equal to the viewport. Okay, so okay, we can do one thing. So we know, right? So flex grow as one, but with the help of flex grow only, we can control the percentage. So what I'm doing, so here we can apply individual styles. Okay, style, flex grow. Okay, flex grow, I'm taking 1 unit. Okay, 1 unit only for this. So already we have discussed all these things, that's why I'm just directly explaining. So if we give a flex grow as 1 for all the children, of course it will share equally. Okay, it will share the space equally. So if you want to distribute unequally, what you need to do, suppose the header I need only one, but main content I need 10 parts, and the footer I need 5. Because what will happen, the footer is 5 times than the header, and the content is 10 times than the header. So observe carefully. So this is a simple technique. So if you see, the header and footer is 5 times than the header. Okay, even if you calculate it, and the main content, this main content is 10 times than the header. Okay, or if you want to change it, you can change it. Suppose if you want make it, this is 15 times than the header or something, no problem, you can divide it. So if you see, it will be the proper, but still I can see for the header we need some extra space. Okay, so this is, so if you design this, okay, let me change some values. Now this is enough, like 12 times, and the footer is 4 times. Okay, still this is not the perfect layout for equivalent to the Amazon, but okay, for learning purpose this is fine. This is the header, this is the footer, and here we are going to design the main content. Okay, now the interesting thing is, in the Amazon you have 6 boxes, so that you can add 6 divs inside of that. Okay, 6 divs inside of this header, and you can control with the help of flexbox only. But today the topic is not to finish the header, the topic is we should understand other semantics, right? Other HTML5 semantics. Okay, so we can focus on that. So we understand few semantics, that is HTML header is a meaningful thing. So because we are dealing with the header, so we have used this semantic. This is the main content for the web page, that's why we have used this one. This is the footer, obviously we can go with this. So there are few interesting things are there. Another one is a navigation bar. So if you see, I want to add in Amazon you have this navigation bar, right? You have this navigation bar. Of course this is the part of header. Okay, this is the part of header, or you can make it a separate div for that, or you can include as part of header. Okay, here what I'm doing, I'm putting that in the main. Okay, I'm just putting that in the main content. So here in the main content, okay, one is the navigation bar and the remaining thing is the main content. Okay, how I'm dividing, this is because in this is the main section. In this, the first div is I'm giving for the navigation bar, and the remaining screen is for the remaining important thing in the web page. So let's see here, I'm just adding navigation bar. Okay, normally we will add a div, and inside of that we will add an order list on the list items or something, but here we already in a HTML5, so we can utilize the another semantic that is called nav. Okay, navigation, and of course the layout, whether you want to display in the horizontal or vertical, you can control with the help of CSS. Right now I'm just adding an order list and I will add some list items. Okay, list item Amazon like laptops. So if you click on this, it will navigate to the laptop screen. Like that, I'm just adding some four things: laptops, um, mobile phones, and TV, and watch or something. So let's Amazon. So we have this navigation bar also. So, but if you want to replicate this one, we need to we need to display as horizontally. So for that, we need to add some extra styles. So we have like only a few minutes left, so we can focus on the HTML5 semantics. Later, we can control with the help of a CSS. So navigation bar is there, and here the remaining thing, suppose what I'm doing, there are two other semantics are there. One is section, another one is the article. Okay, the section and article are almost equal, but there is a slight difference. Okay, so if you go to the W3 schools, you will find HTML5 semantics section, HTML5 semantics. Okay, so far we understand four different types. One is header. Okay, we understand about header, we understand about the footer, we understand about the navigation bar. Okay, here, of course, in this layout is saying one is section, one is article, one is aside. So if you just go through the example, almost you feel that everything is same. But here, just understand one important thing is if you add anything in the section that should be relevant to that web page. Because if you are adding some content in this section of Amazon, that information should be completely relevant to that web page. That is relevant to the Amazon. Okay, but if you just add any article, suppose news article or advertisement kind of thing. So if you so for example, suppose Amazon, suppose if you want to provide some advertisement of other companies. Okay, normally Amazon don't provide some ads for other companies, but normally in the newspaper, because if you open any news website, so they will provide lots of ads, right? So that advertisement is not related to the main web page. That will be completely different. So in that situation, we should go for the article, and aside means suppose if you want to add some small content in that section or some place. Okay, suppose highlight, suppose if you are watching that cricket news, so they will provide some all the information about that particular match, but they will provide some highlights, suppose that man of the match or some person, this is the 50th half century kind of thing. You will provide some short description, right? Okay, that is very close to the section or article. Okay, this should be relevant to the surrounding information. Okay, maybe you are getting some confusion, don't worry, it's very simple. So if you add some, if you want to make highlight of some information, some highlights kind of thing in the cricket, like in the sports section or a movie section, so that you can provide some aside. Okay, we can take some examples. So but here I will show you how to use a section. So here in the navigation bar here, I'm going to provide the product details about laptops and all those things that is completely relevant to the web page Amazon. That's why I will use a section. Okay, I will use the section. In this you can add some product details. So here you can design the table, or you can whatever you can. So you can add, so normally section you can provide some shorter heading. Okay, suppose h1 tag, this is of laptops, something, and you can provide some information as in the paragraph. So these laptops are very good, you can purchase, we will provide some discount kind of thing. So fine. Okay, we are adding. So even if you want to add another section, so you can add images. Okay, laptops 4 5 images, like that. But article means it's completely irrelevant to the web page. So here I'm adding some article in the Amazon. Not normally Amazon don't allow, but I'm just adding this also. You can add some heading. Suppose I'm just taking H3. Okay, there is no rule that for each and every article you need to give a heading. But naturally, if you just observe any a newspaper, okay, if he's writing some article, you will give a short heading, right? So that is a like culture. Okay, so you can add headlines. Okay, T20 World Cup is coming, right? T20 is the World Cup, so that we are adding some information about T20 World Cup. But if you see the Amazon website is the purpose of Amazon website is different. But here we are just attaching the article. This T20 World Cup is completely irrelevant to the Amazon. But maybe if you are watching T20 World Cup, you need a TV. Suppose if you don't have a TV at your home, so you can purchase through Amazon. Okay, in that way, it is helpful for Amazon. So in that situation, you can add as an article. So maybe the main information is exactly not related to the web page, but somewhere it will be helpful for the market. So here you can add it is going to start on October 23rd, right? If I'm not wrong, October 23rd. I think India versus Pakistan match is there. So don't practice anything on that day. Just completely focus on the match and enjoy. On the next day, please practices. Otherwise, complete the practice before the match and enjoy the match. Because yes, that is very important for us, right? Yeah, even I do the same thing. So you can add some article. Suppose aside means so anything like if you just provide some short information that is related to this, but if you want to highlight and if you want to show in some different background colors or something, so that is another one. So just go through this semantic section and try to practice it. And okay, I will take 2 more minutes. Just wait, and then we can finish it. So, and one more thing, you can add article inside of the section. You can add a section inside the article. Anything is there because those are normally a divs, but based on the situation, if you want use an article inside of the section, we can. If you want to use a section inside of the article, because article is there, you want to divide some content into different sections. So in that situation, you can go and add it. So an aside is also there. Okay. The header footer already we understood. Aside, just go and try to understand the example. And figure caption, this is very important. So suppose normally whenever you are adding some images, directly we are just adding image tag and something, right? So at least from today onwards, suppose just add a figure and figure caption. It is providing some really beautiful things. It will make sense, that's it. So I'm just adding dot forward slash. Suppose Amazon, not Amazon logo. Suppose Swami Vivekananda image and alternate. So SVGIE. And if you see, if you are providing an image and it is just asking figure caption, what is that? So you can add some like what is the SVGIE. Of course, this is completely irrelevant to the Amazon, but I'm taking an example. So learn. Okay, first attend the session. Okay, and practice and revise and do some projects. Without these things, you can't learn anything. But most of the people will attend the session, they don't do practice, so they will be out of the race. And few people will attend the session, they will do practice, they don't do revise, so they will face v- really toughs while attending the interviews. So few people will do these three things and they are not interested to projects. At that time, they will face problem after getting a job. So if you want to be successful and happy, so you need to follow these things. Attend the session, practice every day, revise every week, do some projects. No one can stop you in the world. Okay, remember my words. That's all for today. And few more semantics are there. Those are very simple ones. So please go and read out. So if you see the mark, summary, and time. So if you want to mention uh, time anywhere on your web page. So go and just utilize this one so that it's easy. So it's a meaningful div. Okay. So I have covered important things. So please go and complete the semantic section, and layout also we can control with the help of flexbox, and we can complete that perfect layout maybe tomorrow. Okay. So that's all. Enjoy. Bye bye.